Serious Comedians with Raymond Jackson. I'm your host. Today we're going to be talking about a couple of subjects. The first one is going to be the decriminalization and legalization of marijuana. I want to introduce to you our comedian panel today. I'm going to let them talk about themselves real quick.
I'm Jesse Nutt, oldest guy in comedy.
John Morris, I like to cut people off while they're talking.
Nate Washington, founder of Badlands Entertainment, host and creator of Comedy Fight Club.
Travis Charles, the fattest one on the panel.
In honor of 420, which is the international indulgence of partaking in marijuana, we'll be discussing should weed be legalized. But our whole thing is about should weed be legalized, and what is the difference between legalization and decriminalization? Nate, you had some discussions on this. What's the difference from your perspective?
It's a huge difference. Like, you know, there's places where marijuana is actually legal for recreational use, like places like Colorado and Washington, or California for that matter. And that means that you can actually walk into a place of business and purchase marijuana and legally consume it in your own home or wherever you might be.
Right.
That is totally different from decriminalization, which is what just happened here in the city of Dayton. We passed a decriminalization measure, which means that while marijuana is still illegal in Ohio, the state of Ohio, in the city of Dayton, that small little portion, it is decriminalized, and police officers at their own discretion can choose whether or not to arrest someone if they have correct with a certain amount of marijuana. Like, I'm not sure what I really don't remember what the amount is, but there's a certain amount, and it was passed for people who are medicinal like users who really have to have marijuana as their medication, but were in jeopardy of being arrested for, you know, coming from maybe Michigan or another state to get their medication and go home. Like, they could be arrested just trying to go home. So.
Sounded like a 6th grade book report.
You sound good, though. You sound good. You sound good, like, because you really don't know nothing.
I don't. You the one just threw me in the fire.
I had to.
Hey, we talk about weed. Talk about it, Nate.
You talk about it today. But the whole thing of it that gets me, though, is at the police officer's discretion.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that happens is at police officer's discretion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so is it really decriminalized then?
Well, yes, it's still decriminalized.
It caps the jail time or fines. You cannot go higher than this, basically now.
So the penalty.
Yeah, the penalty is less harsh. That's all it is.
You got people that were going to jail, man.
Yeah,
like now
just
it's just like,
weed.
hey, you know, all right, well,
But it's like,
now they can choose to give you a ticket or not.
yeah, but I'm not gonna give you a ticket, but I'm gonna give the y'all guy a ticket.
Well, they always do that.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
They always do that.
Yeah, I guarantee the amounts of that's the police discretion.
Right.
Yeah, I guarantee. A white kid smoking weed in downtown Dayton, he could have a half pound in his backpack. He's gonna get a, don't do that again.
Yeah, get out of here.
Brother got 3 seeds and a gram, he going to jail. It's just that simple.
Well, no, he can't go to jail. You
Yeah,
can't take him to jail.
You know,
If
he's
you
gonna
have
get
Well, no,
seeds
but
in
he
your
is
weed-
going to jail.
If you have seeds,
Oh, he's going to jail for something.
if you have seeds in your weed now, you deserve to go to jail.
That is true.
That's your own fault.
Wait, say that again?
If you have seeds in your weed now, you deserve to go to jail.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, where'd you...
Isn't that a great country song? I got seeds in my weed, something like that. Yeah,
Because-
look, I mean, ultimately, all right, decriminalization and legalization, all right, it's the same way you look at alcohol, all right?
Right.
Alcohol is legal, quasi-legal, but it ain't necessarily decriminalized, okay? You walk around drinking a beer anywhere, you're gonna get a ticket or you're gonna get in some kind of trouble for an open container,
Yep.
even though it's quote-unquote legal, but you got all kind of restrictions on it. And I think ultimately that should be the way that marijuana is looked at everywhere in America.
But my whole thing is, why now? Why now, after all these years, do we want to take this turn? Is it
You
purely?
know why.
Is it pure? Yeah. Is it purely for liberalism or the corporate gain?
Money.
It's for money, and also it's like we'll give them this, and they'll. Oh, sorry.
God, don't worry
And
about
they'll
it.
cool it for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like they won't be fighting so much. The people.
The people.
They've realized
Yeah.
how much
They
money
can make money off of
from
this,
it.
and it
Yeah.
will calm us down. That's gonna.
Yeah, because it's like you still have to pass a drug test most places.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
you can't even
that-
smoke cigarettes most places.
Right. There's still, like in college, if you get caught, there's still a penalty. And because, you know, you listen to the music, you look at TV.
That's why you just gotta treat it like it's still illegal. And then that
Right.
way you don't have nothing to worry
But it
about.
gets marketed more, to me, it gets marketed more towards like 15 the 30. That era right
No, really? No.
I think the vape pens have a lot to do with it because they can't tell anymore what you are smoking out of them.
there. Yeah. You don't think they market it like that? Because they're not marketing smoking to a guy like me or you that's
Yeah.
in their late 30s, early 40s. We're kind of more developed. We've been there. The allure's pretty much gone on what you're missing out on. Because if you look at now, even though to me marijuana, it's been around since the beginning of time, look at the popularity of smoking compared to any other time in this generation. It's always happened, but it looks to be so much more trendy.
I don't think that's-
I just think
I
more
don't
people
think
are
that's what's
open to
happening.
saying that they smoke it now. I think
Yeah,
they've
you're
always
getting-
smoked
you're
it.
But there's
more-
one
I think it's
thing.
the same amount of people.
You're getting more real facts now. You're not finding out that you hit weed once and you're gonna go crazy and murder your friends. You're getting the real information now.
But one thing to smoke, but the overindulgence of
Well, that's just people.
But also, okay, you got to.
That's the same thing as alcohol.
Think about.
Yeah.
Number one, prohibition in general. All right, when they did it to alcohol, it didn't work, and it was the birth of the American organized crime syndicate. Okay, all because of something like that. The only reason you have a certain group of organized criminals with regards to Mexican cartels and other groups with marijuana is because of its prohibition. All right, and again, the amount of money spent in law enforcement on the so-called war on drugs, you haven't changed the price, availability, or purity of anything. So ultimately, it still comes back to money. And the amount of money being made in Colorado, Washington State,
It's
Washington,
insane.
D.C., California, tens of millions of
insane.
dollars.
billions.
Billions.
It's insane.
all right?
Billions.
Everybody should want to cut it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes sense.
But can you get into that club?
If you got the money.
Yeah. Because if you look back, like let's take California for example. The original dispensary was roughly about 25,000 to get going. Nobody knew where this was going to lead to. I did a little bit of research. I did read a little bit this month.
This month.
This month, not last night. But all of a sudden, as time went by, that same startup cost ballooned up to 300,000. So now you've cut a certain section of people off that can't even afford it.
Yeah.
If they can't get the right investors and you know where I'm going with
But
this.
They've put it to where only corporations can
Right.
put their hands into
Yeah,
it
at the same
easily.
hand, do you want a mom and pop weed store though?
I've been having a mom and pop weed store all my life. That's what I've been wanting.
Sorry, man.
Tone
That's
has been
100%
good to me.
But that-
I don't
Tone
smoke
won't
weed,
go
though. I'm just
anywhere.
giving you an example of what it would be.
Tone won't go anywhere.
But how can
Yeah.
Tone compete? To me, it's like once Walmart gets involved in the marijuana game, it could just wipe out the local guy.
Yeah.
I don't, can I preface this with, I am speaking as a stand-up comedian at the current moment.
I think all of us are.
I'm
We are-
not speaking
yeah, I think nothing-
with any
They don't-
advanced knowledge of how the drug game may or may not work. I don't know nothing about that. I'm just speaking in speculatory, hypothetically speaking right now. So this is comedian Nate Washington.
The grand jury's gonna
Can we get like a little bubble underneath it? Do not take legal advice.
The words of this
I
man
just
don't
call myself comedian
represent
Nate
or
Washington.
interpret what he was actually
That's
talking
right.
about as true or
Right.
lawful.
This is where they roll that little disclaimer. Like, put a disclaimer in front of me. Can we get a disclaimer in front of me?
We'll do it in the edit. We'll do it in
So
the
what are you
edit.
gonna say? What are you
Yeah,
gonna
he's
say?
not going to actually come out with one.
Do it live.
No, I'm just saying, man, I don't,
Go ahead.
dispensaries or not, Tone ain't going nowhere. Like, Tone been getting money like that his whole life. You know, so
At least for the last 2 years.
you'll still be able to see Tone because what happens at 9 o'clock? The dispensary closes. This is still Ohio.
Right.
The dispensary closes. And then, you know, like even what you've talked about before on stage, you know, like you got different fees that start getting attached to it that Tone don't have. So he ain't going nowhere.
It's going to be really bad if there's a guy named Tone that sells weed in Dayton.
Or really good. This could be
Look,
free publicity.
Again, it goes back to alcohol, right? At some point at the end of the night or, 2 o'clock in the morning, you can't buy alcohol, quote unquote, legally.
Yeah.
But how many boot joints are there where you can definitely go get your drink on?
Absolutely.
2, 3 o'clock in the morning. One ain't got nothing to do with the other.
Nothing changes.
And there's a lot of people, I believe, that will never trust a corporate weed enterprise. They will still go to the people they know, the people they trust, because they don't feel that there's any reason to trust Walmart, Walgreens, Wally World, or anybody else, because these are the same people who fed them poison and anything else.
Yeah, because I don't trust them because I've heard dastardly things about them. I don't trust the vape people.
Oh man, I'm about to start doing conspiracy theories.
I don't trust the edible people. I've heard it does wild things, man. That's what I've heard.
The Raymond Jones
I was going
show.
to say, we're going to watch Ray go full Alex Jones. The babies are coming after your weed pads. We got to stop this
You gotta stop it all.
Demons.
You need aluminum foil wrapped around your loins because that's it.
But I
Get
don't
away
know.
from me.
I don't know. Sometimes I just think once corporate gets involved with anything,
Quality always goes down.
yeah, it just goes down. And I just don't think, I think they'll focus more on the effects of getting you high than the purity of what constituted in the getting high in the first place.
Well,
now
yeah,
we-
that's why it's
now we
probably
gotta-
medicinal.
Boom, boom, boom.
But they're also going to probably introduce an addictive additive
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
to it to make you want to
Yes.
buy it versus just, I don't see people who are addicted to weed.
Oh, I see
possible.
people who look like they addicted to weed now.
it's-
But you're not going to do the same things you
If
do
you're
for crack for
scraping
weed.
the
Like, it
tar
ain't
out
going
of
to
the
happen.
bottom of a
I don't
bowl
smoke
just to
weed, but
get
I know where I can get it any day
That's-
if I want it.
Yeah, right.
That's crackhead stuff.
Yeah.
That's
You know, because like to me, like black people, you know, we don't have therapy. I think black people use weed as therapy. You
A
just
lot of
get
people
high
do.
and
Well, a lot of people
have a
self-medicate.
conversation with your dude, and
Or your
you ain't got no
dog.
money.
Look, I've said it for years on stage. Yes, and I will confess, statute of limitations does apply. I have smoked weed in the past, but I don't smoke it for the same reasons everybody else does. I smoke it for your safety. Okay? Because you don't want me as angry as I normally am in public. You want me blunted, as the saying goes. You know, and I mean, that's a medicinal use for marijuana, especially when it comes to antidepressants, pain regulation, insomnia, eating disorders. The list goes on. And if you go with the pharmaceutical remedies for all of this, usually the first side effect, especially when you talk about antidepressants, first side effect,
Suicidal
death.
suicide.
Suicide.
Okay.
Yeah.
I smoked a lot of weed in the past, but and that never made me want to kill myself. Ever.
So is the past yesterday?
Well, it was, you know.
No, he's talking about long years ago.
Years
about
ago.
10 minutes.
Years
This is
ago.
before I met him.
19
I don't even think I knew Jesse yet.
2019. Yeah, right.
I don't think I even knew Jesse yet. He still had an afro and everything.
That's why my hair fell out. So
Yeah. I ain't got no hair no more.
You should. This is for daytime TV. You scared me.
Yeah, I just scared. I'm going on death row.
You look like a California raisin.
Yes, I do. God, I gotta lose weight. Big body, little bitty head. It's all bad. Yeah, y'all see me, I'm gonna have a lace front next week.
There you go.
Hey, we gotta take a couple of minutes. We're gonna be back with our next segment. So stay tuned with us. Don't go nowhere. Get you some popcorn or
a brownie.
a brownie,
Smoke a
cookie.
joint.
Smoke something, roll something, light something up. It's up to you. We'll be right back. Hey, it's Ray Jackson, and you're watching Serious Comedians with Raymond Jackson on DATV. You can also catch us on YouTube, Serious Comedians, Dstrong Productions. Okay, we're back. This weekend, even though this is a tape show, this is Easter weekend, which is the resurrection of Christ. But we as comedians, we have a lot of different opinions and thoughts. And I'd like to start with you, Jesse, seeing that you're the elder statesman. Is there a difference between believing in God and believing in religion?
Yes. I think there's a huge difference. And I should say, I'm a survivor of a lifetime of Christian education. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. Some of my best friends are Christians, people of faith, love y'all to death. And some of y'all other Christians who told me I was going to hell, don't worry, I'll save you a seat. But yeah, I think there has to be a big difference. I think because a lot of what modern religion is perversion of what true religion and a true faith in whatever your deity is. Regardless as to what religion you look at, if you look at what's on paper and compare it to what's in practice, it's been perverted. Mm-hmm. It's really been messed up. So yeah, there's a huge difference.
Absolutely. I think the number of people going to church has probably declined, but I bet the number of people that consider themselves spiritual is steadily rising. You got to believe in something.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that, Travis? We had talks about this.
I don't even know what to consider myself. I mean, my views are based on just like, I guess, common sense in my own mind, what I think it's happened or what I think is real. Like Patton Oswalt said it really great one time. He said the Bible is full of great passages and great things to help people get through life, but it also has ghosts, demons, giants, and like ghost sex. He's like, you know, that's the same reason he said you don't make laws based off Game of Thrones or My Little Pony. He was like, because it's all
right. It's all.
For me, it's easier for it to be make believe than it is to be fact. Because like there's no facts in it. And they go, oh, the Bible. Well, man wrote the Bible. You know, we went through stages of someone telling a story, telling this. If I tell Nate a story, by the time it gets to Jesse, it's going to be changed through 4 people. You know, and this is thousands of years ago.
Right.
And it's already been changed once. You know, like so.
Definitively, it's been changed once for sure.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
I've seen the Bible through my times because I started out in the church. Of course, as a child, you don't have a choice. You're going to be, this is it. This is how it goes. Don't ask questions. Which
I think you mean black families.
Yeah, well, I don't know. You never know everybody's situation, but definitely black families, definitely, especially pre-90s.
Oh yeah.
You know, we've seen a big decline since, you know, because churches have really, you know, I had to go to church the other day because I was asked to, so I went and I listened and I understood, but through the years, my thought patterns have changed. Mm-hmm. And I've always wondered, people use religion only until it doesn't align with their thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't suit their personal beliefs.
Yeah. Right.
If something this pastor is preaching to their congregation doesn't fit them, they'll change churches until they find one that fits the way they think. Yeah. And that's one of my biggest beefs with church in general is no pastor teaches it the same way. So like imagine going to 5 different colleges and everyone taught science differently or they taught math differently. You would never have the same teaching. So like how can you go to a Baptist church where that a Catholic church tells you this, they tell you that? You know, there's no direct line of like what you're supposed to do, what you're supposed to know. It's all changed. And it's basically from what the pastor thinks. But his beliefs are, he puts it on.
And the Amish are a perfect example of that. You know, I'll admit I waste a lot of time watching them Amish reality shows, which should be a contradiction right there. But the Amish, it's all run by their individual bishops. Mm-hmm. So you got some Amish, they can't drive, they can't do nothing, they have no electricity, and for a lot of them, no soap. I don't understand that. But they can't do nothing. Then you got other Amish, they got cell phones, they can drive cars, they got businesses, they watch themselves on TV. All because individuals have decided, well, God told me you can have a cell phone. Yeah. You know.
I want to kind of talk about what we touched on earlier about like family, because religion was like a control like tool in my family, and I think that's what it is on a whole. Like, is a tool of control and
Be good or you're going.
yeah, you know, and because like I said, like black families for the most part, like if your great grandmother was Baptist, that's what you were when you.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't have a choice on whether or not I was getting baptized. They just told me when I was 16, hey, it's time for you to get baptized.
Right.
Like you know, we don't get to choose, but personally, like I always felt like, hey man, this is kind of strange. This is kind of strange. Like I didn't. Truthfully, it would scare me a lot of the times. Like. And I just recently decided, I was like, you know what? I am not about to keep pretending for my family that I'm going to be going along with this because, you know, in the end of the day, I'm not the one that's weird. Like, you're the one pretending to drink some white dude's blood. And now I'm weird because I don't want to do it.
That's really weird.
No, like, I'm not weird.
And
you
then,
are.
And then, just for me, is he white? Is he black? Because at one point he was at one beginning in my personal journey, he was white, then he was black.
Well, according to the text, yeah, he's black, but you know, like.
But every day I went
everything
to church,
gets
I looked up
whitewashed.
there. Yeah,
everything gets whitewashed.
I got in trouble in high school for doing a survey of my entire high school. And a couple of questions I asked, number one, I asked, what color is Jesus? And then I asked, okay, when we all get to heaven, what color will we be? Man, I started a holy kerfuffle over that one. And I didn't even realize, I was just asking a question. And I didn't realize how ingrained certain kinds of what I call religious racism exists. Okay? Because there were people who were really upset that I would even suggest that when we get to heaven, you'll be anything other than white. And there were black folk who were upset that I would suggest that when you get to heaven, you're going to be anything other than black. And I'm thinking, why does it matter? Okay? I'm just trying to get to heaven. I don't even care about the mansion. Put me in Section 8. I just want to get there.
Section 8 heaven sounds sweet.
Doesn't it though? Doesn't it though?
That's because it's thrust upon you, like just out the gate. It's forced upon you. The same way they forced it upon slaves, man. Like, and that's why I had to rebel against that. Like, I've always been rebellious.
Well, see, for me growing up, my parents weren't religious. I went to church voluntarily, and I learned the message. And I got to be 19, and I was like, I got other stuff to do. I'm not going to go to church anymore. But I still believe most of it. Like when it comes down to the actual, like thought that they try to put in your head, I believe in that. Be good to each other. Treat people how you want to be treated.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people are kind of the same way. Like they got those messages young enough.
But you don't need the Bible to know to just be good to people.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Don't smack Nate.
You don't need that.
Don't steal Nate's money.
If that hadn't been taught to people thousands of years ago, we could all still be barbarians now, just clubbing each other to death.
But we have more access to other information than they had back then. Back then, that's someone knew how to read, spoke to them people. They didn't know how to read.
Yeah, like
so whatever they heard, they took as fact. And then they told their kids and their kids. That's why they teach children from a young age in, Bible school and on up, is to get that idea.
Yep.
And you grow and you believe your adults, you believe your surroundings.
Churches literally lure kids
It's
in
brainwashing
with,
from an early age.
That's how they
It's
got me.
honestly what it is.
Yeah.
Name brand cereal. That's how they got me.
Because
in
I
there.
look
Is that how
at
they got you?
Yep, Lucky Charms. That was, they were
I
like,
look
oh,
at-
you're
And
free.
you went in the basement.
Yep.
Wow.
look at some of your. I'm not gonna go into denominations, but look at some of your biggest church scandals
Yeah.
Yeah.
and who they were perpetrated on. Children basically, because
Children and the poor.
and the poor.
Because what is it? The religion says that God is all knowing and all. I don't read it.
He
that
knows
much.
what you're about to say.
Yeah.
He gets it.
He's all good and all knowing.
Yeah.
You can't be both. Because otherwise evil wouldn't exist. So you can't know everything or you can't be all good. Because all good, there's no
What are
evil.
you talking about, man?
If you're all good, where's evil come from? If it's all good.
Yeah, your thought.
You gotta have
It's all good in the hood, baby.
So either you can't know everything and you can't be all good. You have to either not know some things or you have to have some evil in you. There's got to be.
Like the question, okay, if God saw everything in advance, why didn't you see the devil and snuff that out before it jumped
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I believe there's something. I don't necessarily believe there's a God, or I believe Jesus was a man. I believe he walked on the earth and people saw things he did. But guess what? Chris Angel can do those same things.
Why though? Because why do you believe that?
Believe what?
That he did those things.
He was a real man. I do believe that. I don't think it was a fake person. I believe that dude was born. I think his mom lied, but I think he was born.
Well,
Like she banged,
wait a minute.
She banged the stable dude, didn't want to tell Joseph, and he was like, "All right, I'm a cuck," and like.
Hey, this is good, man.
Can you say cuck on TV?
Yeah.
Okay.
And just went along with it because he didn't want to
You
lose
can
his
say it on
wife.
this TV.
Maybe she was hot. He was like, all right, cool. She banged Tony in the back, but I still got her.
Look, when the lightning hits, we on the safe side. So
But think about it. There were stories of the Son of God before Jesus was even born. So she may have heard a story and goes, you know what? That's me now. I'm going to take this role because I don't want no one knowing that I slept with so-and-so.
So this is the like what you're saying. This is the best Maury episode ever.
that's what I'm saying.
It could be the first Maury show that never
you are not the
existed.
father.
Because it was only, what, a little over 2,000 years ago, 2,000 some years ago. Not that long ago, honestly, in the scheme of things.
Right.
People are creative, storytellers. They were like, why isn't Moby Dick real? Why isn't Lord of the Rings real? Like those were books. Those were someone's ideas. They came up with all of that.
If you say 2,000, from my understanding, man has been around longer than
Yeah.
2,000 years. So what was man's belief before Christ?
There was no beliefs. It was just
How
it
do
was
we know
survived.
that?
It was survived.
But if you look at
How do we actually know that?
was gonna say, I think
because to
Judaism
me, everybody
is
had to
older than
believe in something in order
Christianity,
for something to be created.
Judaism is older than Christianity, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So there was religions before Christianity. It's
there's
just
always someone who wants to be in power over everybody else.
Christians were the most like, if you're not going to believe what I believe, I'm going to kill you. So they started wiping out other religions. I think that's how they got so big, isn't it? I'm not
Fear. They used
100%.
fear to push it.
Right.
Like
Those were the missionaries.
Let's face it, some of the biggest wars on this planet up until recently were fought because of religion.
Yeah.
Religion poisons a lot of stuff.
Okay? Most genocides before recently were based on religion. And let's be honest, and again, I'm a lover of the Bible, I love the truth, but let's face it, the first genocide was when God told them, wipe out the Amalekites, wipe them all out. He didn't differentiate, wipe them all out. And I've asked many Christians, how do you justify that, okay, in the Bible? It's right there, it's genocide, okay? So Christianity's got a lot to answer for.
How do you why even an all-knowing person, why would an
Why
all-knowing
create those
person
people?
create
Yeah.
an entire group of people that he or she would later be like,
yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's like I've seen
Have you
children
ever
do that with blocks.
have you
and
ever
then just
dumped
like,
out
all
an
right, I'm
ant
tired of
farm?
this block.
Yeah, that's
and
basically.
forget about it. Like that.
You've never just dumped out an ant farm? It's just like, I'm tired of them.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I never had an ant farm, man.
But it's
So
like,
thank
okay,
you for
it's
reminding me of that.
The modern
I'll get you
churches, you can use the modern church's view on homosexuality as a perfect example, all right? Then you reference that with the Bible, okay? The top 10 in the Bible, 10 commandments, there's only one sex no-no in there. It ain't got nothing to do with being gay. It has to do with being married. If you're married, don't screw around. Adultery, that's it. It don't say nothing about being gay. And through the whole Bible, you can count the number of times it talks about being gay. It's an abomination. Go back into that same Bible, Christians. Count how many times God calls a liar and lying an abomination. And you tell me which is worse. That's my challenge to everybody, especially you Westboro Baptist Church folk. Okay, I mean, for real. That's just how it is. So, I mean, look, I love God, but I have a personal relationship with my deity. Right. And it ain't got nothing to do with the people that say they live in his house or her house or whatever. Because I know that house is full of poisonous snakes. Because it is. All right. The devil's most effective agents are the ones with the keys to the church.
Facts.
Sorry.
Facts.
Hey, we're going to stop it right there. We're not asking you who to believe in, what to legalize, who's a criminal, who's not.
I'm kind of asking you to do that.
Yeah, Nate wants you to do some things.
I'm asking you that. I'm asking you and telling you who and what to believe in.
Believe in me and Nate. We're real. We're right here.
Join us again for the next episode of Serious Comedians with Raymond Jackson, where we'll have more engaging discussion and opinions. Thank you. Good night.
Take care.